Mondays with Mark Allen. Welcome back, everybody. Today is another edition of Road to St. George. I don't know if you saw it last week, but there was a great article that relates to getting ready for St. George. It was in the New York Times, and it was talking about the Norwegian athletes and their preparation. Let me read you the first sentence or title of that article. It was, "Why do they swim, bike, run so fast? Data. The most advanced science in the triathlon world can be found in Norway, where athletes embrace the data found in their heat sensors, oxygen measuring masks, and their feces." All right, we're talking like deep science here, right? And as I read through the article, I'm thinking, geez, how is anybody going to be able to beat those guys in the big races? They have so much science behind them, and clearly it's been working looking at their results from 2021. And then I looked a little deeper into it, and I was thinking about the areas that they have focused on, at least in the article. One of them was lactate testing, one of the science pieces that has been put in place for years. Basically, they were trying to figure out how fast can an athlete go in training so that they get benefit, but so that they can be consistent, come back tomorrow and train again and again and again. This was like actually basic stuff that we were figuring out years ago without all that science. Second thing that they were looking at was calorie intake. You have to be able to get in calories to sustain an effort. If you can't get them in, you're going to slow down. And if you use up all your glycogen, you bonk. That's another thing that they were looking at with all of this deep science. A third thing was trying to figure out how to pace the triathlon, whether it's an Olympic distance race like Christian had in Tokyo or an Ironman distance race like he had in Cozumel, and figuring out how hard can you go on the bike before you are building up too much heat in your body and then you pay the price on the run. Again, something that we were trying to figure out years ago. So what's the difference? Why are these guys using data, figuring out the same stuff that we have done for decades now? Why are they going so much faster? My feeling is, and my sense of this is, that they are getting all the pieces put in place all in the same time. One season, Christian Blumenfeld goes from Olympic gold medalist to having the fastest Ironman distance time ever in Cozumel. That's because a lot of pieces that took me years to figure out through the data was put in place all in one season. That's the dramatic difference. So what are these pieces again? Let me highlight them for you because I think it's important to understand. One of them is how to train consistently. Not training so hard that you burn yourself out, but training consistently so that you test yourself today, but then you also are able to come back tomorrow and do it again and again and again. This took me quite a few years to figure out. I got burned out. I'd overtrained, and then I realized, wait a minute, I can't train that hard all the time. I figured out the formula for myself. Intuitive, a little bit of measurement, but not the deep science that you can do it in one season. Second thing was, how do you get in the calories you need to sustain the effort that you want to sustain through the fitness that you have? That was the biggest piece in Kona. I didn't get that right until the final Ironman that I did in 1995, my 12th Ironman Kona. It was the only race in Kona where I actually didn't get sick to my stomach because the calories I was getting in were too much. I couldn't absorb them. I got sick. I got nauseous. But in any case, they're figuring that out right here on the spot. And the third thing is figuring out how to pace the race. Pretty simple, right? You go hard on the bike, great. You go too hard, you have a terrible run. You go just hard enough, you have an incredible marathon. Again, something that I was trying to figure out in my era through trial and error. These guys are able to figure out in one season. So it begs the question, are these guys invincible? Are they unbeatable? Will anybody be able to beat them in Ironman World Championships in St. George, Road to St. George? Will they be unbeatable in Kona in October? Let's see. If the other athletes are embracing all of these pretty basic areas that you need to dial in and they get them all dialed in, it's going to be an amazing race. If the other athletes think they can look at just one area and win, Blumenfeld, Eden, the Norwegian athletes are going to crush. What do you think? Road to St. George, Mondays with Mark Allen. I hope you enjoyed that one. We'll see you next week.